rather not bring it up on the meeting again. I'm starting to see signs go up there. No, they're picking them up from major streets.
17 down Saturday.
Okay, well, you can be 20. And Monty and Electric. Well, that's good. I mean, when I first, the reason this all started, because I used to think about myself, I didn't see him anymore. Well, we're in the parking lot, Murphy was the trunk. Murphy was taking him down every Saturday. It's not Murphy's town. You know, I saw him pull up, got the first one under the light. There was still the yellow light. He stopped, sat there through the whole light, never stopped to get the sign. My dad used to have a flat shovel in the back of the trunk. He just
All the departments gave the cover letter, and the resolutions were all written on the floor. Everything was on the floor.
Oh yeah. I would be making phone calls if you put
No.
them up again. I'm going to write the manager of the shop.
And I'm sure when they're all done, they'll go, they'll take care of anything left over with the neighbors, but
We had
who wants to weed all that?
craft beer, Crystal Gardens.
Yeah.
I called the woman up. I says, "Are you the head of this?" She says, "Yeah, I am." I said, "What's your name?" I said, "What's your address?" She gave me her address. I says, "Well, I'm Environmental Officer Parkinson, Ordinance Officer Parkinson. If I see one of your signs left in Lincoln Park tomorrow, I'm coming to Crystal Garden and I'm going to write you a ticket." The next morning, they were all gone.
And that's what we do.
Well,
Someone else.
well, they know they're getting taken on Main Street, but they're starting to do side streets.
Where you
So it's like,
Let's see, my son's car.
and the woman's on social media. That's so down
The
on
car.
that one. That was a week ago.
Anyways, takes
mean,
groceries
you mean
out
to tell
of
me
his
nobody
car,
drove
and
down
it
Monty
won't
last
start,
week?
it won't turn over, and it's all pulled in, so it couldn't do a jump, so it's stuck in the middle, and so
They've been
he
there
had
for-
no transportation to go to work at 4:30 this morning, so of course he used my car, and I was gonna bum a ride
Well, they better be
somehow
start.
to this
Somebody
meeting
gonna write them a
and
ticket
home
next
and
time. We buy test strips. We're buying them people getting drugs off the test strips.
stuff, but he doesn't really
We buy test strips. They're selling the test strips to get drug money.
He's one of those guys.
You know as well as I do.
Yeah,
399.
All right.
and not a fuss. Well, it was just like, I mean, I would have been fine all day except for this meeting.
You don't like
And I-
one of those fellow, do you? It's a good
No,
feeling, isn't it?
and I didn't even, I only had $2 in my wallet, and it was like, I'm not going anywhere, I don't need to. I hate not having any cash, I mean, what was going to do was, but it was like, so then, he comes over right before the
only
meeting.
go to so many things.
He goes, it won't even, you can't even touch it.
Can't turn the key and
Because
put it in
no, it won't.
Where is it?
2011, the Ford.
Signs up and it doesn't show.
So I don't know what we're gonna do.
So if we hadn't had that conversation just last week.
Trade it in and get it.
Will did last week about volunteering and going up
He's
stuff.
terrible with his money. It's just, I kept ignoring him well. We're kind of,
They're gonna stuck.
yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about volunteering. I don't think it was the
Can't
last.
be, you can't be driving your car every day.
No.
Okay, let's do this thing. Don, if I could have the camera, please. For discounts. Call the July 1st, 2019 meeting of the Lincoln Park City Council to order. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Would then be followed by a moment of silence for those members of our community that have lost a loved one this past week.
George Sebastian, did you mention? George Sebastian died, he was buried Friday.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And if we could have roll call, please.
Councilpersons Breeding.
Present.
Higgins.
Here.
Kelsey.
Here.
Parkinson.
Here,
Ross.
Here.
Salcido.
Present.
And Mayor Carnes.
Here. Evening, everyone. Happy July.
Happy Canada Day.
It says Canada Day. The land of my heritage. I should know that. All right, a couple things. We had a very nice weekend at the band show. I know Friday and Saturday, well, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, there was live music. It was very well attended, well put on. Food was available for those that wanted to buy it. I think it was a nice time. So kudos to the Parks and Rec Department, Maureen Tobin, for putting this on and getting it all together for us. And from what I understand, the cruise went very well also, even the unofficial version that it was. And there was also music next to the park restaurant, which I understand went very well also. So a nice weekend for us all around. Earlier this evening, Councilwoman Ross and Councilman Kelsey and I took a look at a couple of homes that were renovated through the SNAP folks, and we're going to get to those in just a few minutes. But in talking about these places, it was very well done with the before and after pictures, night and day. As I'm sure that I think some of those pictures will be available to you in just a couple minutes, where you can see those. With today being July 1st, obviously July 4th is right around the corner, and in some places celebrations have started. Just a couple reminders with fireworks, if you are going to be putting them on. Follow the manufacturer's directions. Have an adult supervise firework activities, including sparklers. Light fireworks one at a time, then immediately back away to a safe distance. Keep people and pets out of range before lighting fireworks. Light fireworks outdoors on a driveway or other paved surface at least 25 feet away from houses and highly flammable materials such as dry grass or mulch. Keep a bucket of water or garden hose handy in case of fire or other mishap, and douse spent fireworks in a bucket of water before discarding them. Basically, we would ask that when you're out there doing that you show common sense with this. Obviously, fireworks and alcohol do not mix. So be responsible here, as they can be very dangerous items. We've gotten word back from our actuarial results of our pensions, their funding levels. The MERS pension has increased from 21% to 23%, and the police and fire has increased to 32%. And that is, while we still have a long way to go, it is headed in the right direction. I think that through the efforts of Mr. Kopler and getting that together, well, starting with the emergency manager, but it was more of the things that were done after that has resulted in the improvements, in my belief. And it is, July is Parks and Recreation Month. So whereas parks and recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including the city of Lincoln Park, whereas our parks and recreation are vitally important to establishing and maintaining the quality of life in our communities, ensuring the health of all citizens, and contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of a community and region. And whereas parks and recreation programs build healthy, active communities that aid in the prevention of chronic disease, provide therapeutic recreational services for those who are mentally or physically disabled, and also improve the mental and emotional health of all citizens. And whereas parks and recreation programs increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas parks and recreation areas are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community, and whereas parks and natural recreation areas improve water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, improve the quality of air we breathe, provide vegetative buffers to development, and produce habitat for wildlife. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. Whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and whereas the City of Lincoln Park recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the City of Lincoln Park that July is recognized as Park and Recreation Month in the City of Lincoln Park. So that is a good thing. And then with that, we have the gentleman, the folks from the SNAP who are going to come up and do a brief presentation.
Hi, good evening. My name's Jake. I'm a project manager for HP Snap. Just wanted to say thank you guys for letting me be here tonight, and thank you for the opportunity to work with the city. A gentleman from the audience asked I keep it brief tonight, so I'll do my best to honor his request. A few of you guys were able to come and check out the properties before the meeting. For those of you that weren't available, we'll definitely make arrangements for you to see that if you'd like. We do have copies of the presentation being passed out right now, as well as a photo booklet that will go around. Started already. For those viewing at home, a photo will be made available at the city clerk's office if you'd like to take a look at it. So just a little bit about us, HP Snap. We've done over 500 homes. We've accepted our 10th partnership in the Metro Detroit area. We've had 7 years of tax foreclosure specific experience. We've grown our business to over 40 employees that help us get this program taken care of. All of our projects have been completed on time, and we've been able to include sustainable, energy efficient fixtures throughout all of the homes that we do. You'll see the list of our partnered communities, and I'd just like to mention a couple of them. Garden City has selected our firm for a sole partnership for the next 3 years. Madison Heights as well has selected us to be a sole partner, and Oak Park has recently selected us this year to be a partner in their program as well. So we've been in Lincoln Park since 2017. We had a 19 property bundle then with one commercial property. And with the help of Matt Koppler, we were able to bring in the Beaumont EMS right off of Southfield. It's helping to service the city of Lincoln Park a little bit more efficiently. 2018 properties, we had 22 that came to us, and 12 of them have been completed thus far. The other ones will be completed within the allotted time frame. So our project is ahead of schedule. We did a recent study with the MSU Research Community Development in Lansing. And they did an independent study, which we're going to be passing a copy as well. This will be available with Matt Koppler if anybody wanted to take a look at that as well. So they determined through an evaluation of Redford and Lincoln Park that our program has increased an average of $40,000 per home in the city. It's an overall increase of about 18%. So we're seeing some pretty positive impacts on the community. The building department in Lincoln Park has been a pleasure to work with. John Myers and his team work really hard to make sure that our projects stay on task. And I wanted to mention our approach to this program is when we meet with these people that are going through the tax foreclosure, we take an exceptional, compassionate approach to try and understand what they've gone through, how they've ended up in the position that they've been in. And in qualified cases, we've actually been able to help these people get their homes back. You know, if it's a serious medical situation or something of that nature, but we do work with the city to try and balance out what is actually true and who is just not paying attention. We've offered relocation options, extended stays while they try and figure something out. So we really go above and beyond trying to make sure that these people are taken care of. So there's been no negativity and nobody coming to city councilmen explaining why somebody's trying to take their house. Is because we work hand in hand with them and explore every option before we have to pursue any other means of getting them out of there. So we did open a new office in Lincoln Park as part of this program. The driving just got to us. We had to get something down here so that we could save on gas. A few things we've done in the city. We helped the local animal shelter. We sponsored the Lincoln Park Days Festival. And we did help the city use a HUD grant to renovate one of the properties that was just extremely, extremely torn. And we invested a significant amount more than we had committed initially just to make sure that the property got done correctly. Ultimately, that contributes to our whole program, right? So we're willing to spend that extra money to make sure that the end goal is the same, that the property values are going to continue to go up. And that's all I have for you guys. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer as best I can.
Okay, well, I don't, thank you for the presentation and for the tour of the homes. They look very nice.
We appreciate you spending time coming to check it out. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Get with the program here. Move forward with the consent agenda. Resolved that the following items listed in the consent agenda be approved as presented to the mayor and city council. 1, approved minutes, regular meeting held June 17, 2019. 2, approved minutes, public hearing held June 17, 2019, RA SAW grant. 3, participation residential rehab. 4, approved renewal annual used auto dealers licenses. 5, approve renewal annual second-hand dealers licenses. And 6, approve renewal annual pawnbroker licenses.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. As for the action items, I pulled number 9, the recognized nonprofit organization from the agenda. I'm having the city attorney do research on whether they're a qualified organization for what they're requesting for. So the city attorney will get back, and this will be put on for the 15th.
Thank you.
It is the 15th, isn't it? It is. So moving to the action items. Whereas the mayor and council adopted resolution 2019-237 at its meeting of June 3rd, 2019, which establishes mayor and council liaisons for various city departments, boards, and commissions. Whereas Resolution 2019-237 requires mayor and council adopt by resolution the duties, responsibilities, and conduct for each liaison. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council adopt the duties, responsibilities, and conduct policy for the mayor and council liaison program herein attached or hereto attached as Exhibit A.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item has a cover letter from,
If I may,
oh, I'm sorry.
are we going to choose which liaisons, which departments we're picking tonight, or no?
I was going to talk about that under my,
Okay.
my report.
Not a problem.
Probably a good question. Okay, the next item has a cover letter from John Kazoo, our Department of Public Services Director. And it's to award the bid for retention basin flushing systems, valve actuators removal and replacement. In the background, the Department of Public Works, on behalf of the City of Lincoln Park, solicited bids for the retention basin flushing system, valves and actuators removal and replacement. The department received 3 bids for the project, with the low bid being Kerr Pump and Supply of Oak Park, Michigan, at $82,956.
Bless you.
The additional bidders were DECIMA LLC, of $90,000, and then Inland Waters Control Incorporated at $183,000. So be it resolved that the mayor and city council hereby award the bid for the retention basin flushing system valves and actuators removal and replacement to Kerr Pump and Supply of Oakwood, Michigan for a total cost not to exceed $82,956 to come from Water and Sewer Capital Improvement Account 420-001-983-000.
Support.
Discussion?
Yes, one question. Have we worked with this company before?
I'm getting that, yes, we have.
Yes, we have worked with Kerr Pump previous to this bid.
And we're satisfied with the results?
Yes, sir. We've worked with them for approximately a year and a half now. And yes, we have and we are satisfied with their performance.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item has a cover letter from our Fire Chief, Steve Martin. And the fire department would like to auction off or sell 2 vehicles from the fleet. 2002 Ford Windstar, a 1997 Sutphen fire engine pumper. The Ford Windstar is no longer mechanically reliable and has been out of service for safety reasons. The Sutphen pumper will be replaced by the new engine to be purchased with Distress City grant funds, which should be delivered by the fall. So whereas the fire department is in possession of a 2002 Ford Windstar, VIN number 2FMZA51452BA96921, and a 1997 Sutphen fire engine, VIN number AS9AABLD7W10039094, and whereas both vehicles have fallen into disrepair and exceeded their safe and useful age. Now therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council of the city of Lincoln Park sell or auction the 2 referenced fire department vehicles proceeds to be deposited into a fleet fund account.
I'll move.
Support.
All right, discussion?
I have a question through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
The fire engine that we're going to be selling, it will not exceed the allowable under the charter as far as the proceeds that we'd get for it.
Yeah, no, it's probably going to be around the $10,000 mark.
Okay, okay. And we're not going to trade it in? No. Okay.
No.
And we will make sure that the other one comes in before the old one is sold.
Yes, I did speak with the fire chief because that part was left out. It kind of, when you read it, it sounds like we're going to sell this tomorrow. But we will hold on to that, make sure that we're protected until the new one comes in.
Now, did the chief discuss with you the auction via or, because there's a choice here, that's auction or sell. So
What I had discussed with him was the auction route, not the open sell.
Because we're mandated to auction it, aren't we? All right. So as long as he's
Yeah.
is aware of that, okay. Further discussion?
Yes, through the chair.
Yeah.
Was there a date on a citywide auction? I know you mentioned it about a month ago. A date on our next city auction?
Should probably be in August or September, right, is the next one? Because we do those on a quarterly basis.
Thank you.
So I think the last one was in May.
I have fire
Does that sound right?
Sounds good to me. Further discussion?
Yes, Your Honor. I have to ask the question now, if we're not going to sell it, should we not remove that from the, if we're going to auction it off, and that's what we have to do by charter, why is sell in this question? And why should we leave it there?
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's good with the mover and supporter to strike the word sell where it occurs twice, I believe. or just,
They'll
I read it
add,
twice.
they'll add auction.
Or is that in case it doesn't go at auction?
I mean, in the old days, it was sell at auction, the city.
Right.
It was sell at auction.
Sell at auction.
Yeah.
So is that what you want to do? Change the word or to at? Say sell at auction?
Sell at auction.
Okay, the mover and supporter is good with that,
Yes.
that change?
Yep.
Okay, so do, I need to just go for as amended? Or do I gotta go for the amended first?
No, we've changed
Corrected.
it.
It's a clerical error.
All right.
Clerical error, we changed
And
it.
that's it.
So
And
we're gonna
is there
just
any,
vote on
further
the
discussion?
resolution.
Or none? Go.
Okay. Councilpersons Ross,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Breeding,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. All right. Next item is from our city manager. It has a cover letter in reference to shared assessing services agreement. And in background, as mayor and council are aware, I've been working with the city of Melvindale to develop a collaborative assessing services department. The idea behind this collaboration assessing services department is to provide a higher level of service to the residents of both communities, improve the reliability and quality of services, provide for long-term succession plan for assessor, and control the long-term costs associated with the assessment of real and personal property in both cities. The attached shared assessment services agreement provides the framework for the collaborative between the city of Lincoln Park and the city of Melvindale. The agreement will provide for the staffing of 2 offices of the collaborative, Melvindale and Lincoln Park, determine how the cost for the collaborative would be allocated in the payment schedule, provide the framework for governance and oversight of the collaborative, determines the agreement for the collaborative, as well as provides for renewal and amendment for the agreement, indemnification and defense for each city, and the process for other cities to join. City's cost for this collaborative has already been provided for within the adopted fiscal year 2019-20 budget. And the city of Melvindale has reviewed the proposed agreement and will be officially acting on the agreement at its next meeting. So whereas the city of Lincoln Park and the city of Melvindale desire to share resources related to the assessing of real and personal property within their communities, and whereas an agreement to memorialize the framework for this sharing and resources has been drafted and presented to each city. Now therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council of the city of Lincoln Park approve the shared assessing services agreement, between the city of Lincoln Park and the city of Melvindale, hereto attached as Exhibit A. And be it further resolved that Mayor Thomas E. Carnes and City Clerk Carrie Kerr are authorized to execute the shared assessing service agreement on behalf of the city of Lincoln Park.
So move for discussion.
Support.
All right. Jim?
I just have a, because it bugs me. Here to attached as Exhibit A. That means this all has to be put in the minutes. Can we just put as submitted rather than attached? And then it won't have to all be submitted?
However you like it.
I'm just asking.
It doesn't matter to me one way or
It's
another.
actually the right way to do it. She's right.
Okay.
We'll replace attached as just submitted. Thank you.
No problem.
We're going to
Can't
school.
take the clerk out of the,
Thank you.
We're going to school tonight.
Is that all right with the mover and supporter? Yes. I know you are, Tom.
Yes.
Tom? Okay.
Okay. Further discussion?
Yes, Your Honor. How did it go at Melvindale's meeting? They're all in also?
What, in my discussions with the administrator, it's my understanding that what we've put together is acceptable to them. They did make one request for the change, and I think I talked about this at the last meeting. It was on how the future year payments were going to be made. They wanted to go with a increase escalator rather than look at each year, reaccount for it. I ran a couple different scenarios, knowing what at least the next couple years employee costs are going to be, and I think it falls within that. I did put put language in here that gives a little wiggle room for us, that if there's some extraordinary cost increase, that we can go back and talk about it, so.
Thank you.
Further discussion?
Yes, through the chair. The copy I got on the first page, it says recommendation is recommended that the mayor and council adopt the attached resolution to approve the Fantasyland agreement with the Lincoln Park Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, so
That's out?
I still recommend that we adopt that, don't get me wrong. But yes, that should have been the shared service agreement.
Okay. Just
But I
thought
do recommend you still approve that.
Yeah, I just wondered if I was reading something different. Thank you.
Okay. Further discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item is a cover letter from our Chief of Police, Raymond Waters, attending the Michigan Police Executive Development Seminar. It's a resolution to obtain approval from Mayor and Council for Sergeant Sean Noe and Sergeant Gerald Martin to attend the Michigan Police Executive Development Seminar. MPEDS is sponsored by the FBI and the Michigan chapter of the FBI National Academy Associates. This program is designed to provide law enforcement executives the opportunity for advanced leadership training. The seminar examines problems faced with law enforcement communities and offers solutions to make each officer a better executive. The cost of the seminar for both officers is $1,990. It includes all lodging, meals, and training materials. The seminar is MCOLDS approved and will be paid for by the Police Department's training fund. They will take a department vehicle and follow the city travel policy, and this will not cause any shortages or any overtime. So resolved that Mayor and Council authorize Sergeant Gerald Martin and Sergeant Sean Noe to attend the Michigan Police Executive Development Seminar being held at the Garland Lodge in Lewiston, Michigan from Monday, September 23, 2019 through Friday, September 27, 2019. The cost of the seminar for both officers is $1,990 and includes all lodging, meals, and training materials. Police Department vehicle will be used and the city travel policy will be followed. Therefore, be it further resolved that funds for the seminar to come from the Police Department's Training Fund account 101-305-960.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. It's a great opportunity for us. All right. Next item has a cover letter from Giles Tucker, our Executive Director of the Downtown Development Authority and the EDC. In background, within the Lincoln Park Downtown Development Authority 2018-19 budget, $180,000 in capital expenditures was anticipated for the second phase of the downtown lighting upgrade project. Within the DT quote for this phase, the project included removal of obsolete pedestrian lighting, reinstallation of brick pavers, and the installation of cement slabs through the LPDDA. The portion of the project was quoted at $85,000. At this point, the DDA thought it would be best to look elsewhere for this portion of the project. On September 18, 2017, the city, Lincoln Park, awarded the 2017 sidewalk repair program to JB Contracting. On March 4, 2019, the city council agreed to extend their contract to 2019. As opposed to going out to bid separately for the sidewalk portion of the project, the DDA board felt that attaching this work to the current sidewalk repair program would provide comprehensive assurance of quality, workmanship, and ensure competitive pricing, and because the contract is already working within the city, would allow for a timely construction timetable. Okay. And lastly, the LPDDA seeks to add this additional work as an addendum to the city's existing contract in order to ensure the same level of assurance is provided within the current sidewalk repair program. DDA asks this addendum, including the unit cost provided within the attached scope of work, be approved by City Council. Any additions or deductions are necessary. Any additions or deductions are necessary shall not to exceed $40,000. All right. So whereas the City of Lincoln Park Council awarded the 2017 sidewalk repair program contracting to JB Contracting Incorporated on September 18, 2017, and on March 4, 2019, agreed to extend this contract through 2019. Whereas the DDA board has budgeted for and seeks to complete its downtown lighting project, which includes the removal of obsolete pedestrian lighting, reinstallation of brick pavers, and the installation of cement slabs throughout the DDA areas. Whereas the DDA board believes that using the City of Lincoln Park sidewalk repair contractor, including these necessary downtown improvements as an addendum to the City of Lincoln Park's existing sidewalk repair program, significantly reduces overall project costs, ensures timely completion of the project, and provides the DDA with the assurances contained within the existing sidewalk repair program. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council approve the proposed addendum to the City of Lincoln Park's existing sidewalk repair program. Any additions or deductions necessary for completion of this project shall not to exceed $40,000.
So moved for
Support.
discussion.
Okay?
I just have a question. I have no problem with this. However, if they're going to be doing the sidewalk for the new lighting, everything else, why is it this is coming to us to approve this addendum, but I don't remember us having a resolution to approve the DTE lighting contract that the DDA entered into? What makes it different?
Because it's our contract with JB.
That's fine.
That's my understanding of
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Okay. Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. All right. Resolved that the residents of the 500 block of Mill between Elliott and Applewood be granted permission to have a block party on Saturday, July 27th, 2017, from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. under the following conditions. 1, that the street be barricaded at each end and closed to vehicular traffic. 2, that the party be over by 9 p.m. or dusk, whichever comes first, and the street be reopened to traffic, per the recommendation of the police department.
I'll move.
Support.
Support.
There we go. Discussion?
That's fine.
Okay.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. All right, our next item is resolved that the mayor and council hereby authorize the event Parlez-Vous Movie Night, sponsored by the Parlez-Vous Family Dentistry. The family event will be held on July 20, 2019, from 8 p.m. until 11 p.m. at the Parlez-Vous Family Dentistry, 3784 Dix, Lincoln Park, Michigan, 48146. Further be it resolved that the event shall comply with Ordinance 666.04A2 noise. Application filed and fees paid.
So moved.
Support.
Support. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just hot tonight, you know. Especially, shouldn't it say special event permit number so and something or other? So that you can keep track of how many special events?
It should.
Okay.
Do we know what event number this is?
We
I-
just added that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Is that okay with the mover? Did I add that in?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably waiting on me, aren't you?
I am.
All right. Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Ross,
Yes.
Breeding,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Well, next item is a cover letter that I'm going to assume is from, John Kazoo, our Director of Public Services. This is not in your packet. It's an extremely late addition, but because of the work that is needed, it needs to move forward. So in background, the City of Lincoln Park was awarded the Financially Distressed Cities, Village, and Township grant in March 2017 for the replacement of a water main crossing under I-75 in the amount of $373,000. The city has 5 water main crossings under I-75, but the southwesterly city limit and Southfield Road, 3 of which are inoperable. Due to the inoperable mains, certain neighborhoods west of I-75 experience low water pressure. The purpose of this grant was to reinstate or replace the water main crossing at Champaign Avenue. Excuse me. The complexity of this project, along with the Michigan Department of Transportation requirements, have required Hennessy engineers to analyze several alternatives to make the project feasible. Modeling shows that running a new water main that runs parallel to I-75 and connecting to the existing 24-inch water main in the Southfield median with a connection to the 12-inch water main on Mill Avenue will provide for increased water pressure. The new 12-inch water main will run along the west side of Abbott Avenue from Southfield Road median to the Cleveland Avenue, The north side of the Cleveland Avenue from Abbott Avenue to Porter Avenue, and the west side of Porter Avenue from Cleveland Avenue to Mill Street, and will connect all intersecting water mains along this route. The construction cost for this project estimated at $500,000. So resolved that the mayor and city council authorize Hennessy Engineers Incorporated to solicit bids for the Financial Distressed Cities, Villages, and Townships Grant Water Main Installation Project.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Breeding, Kelsey,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Okay, now what do I do with it? Got it now. So next, resolve that the accounts and claims payable for those items greater than $25,000 be approved as follows. District Court, July 2019 monthly payments, $49,255.17. May 2019 MIDC expense, $15,092.80, for a total for the District Court of $64,347.97. Hennessy Engineers Incorporated, DDA Infrastructure Evaluation, $4,700. 2019 Road Bond Reconstruction, $102,750. 2019 Road Bond Asphalt Resurfacing, $36,736.20. 2019 Road Bond Concrete Section, $24,360. Total to Hennessy Engineers of $168,546.20. HydroCore Residential Backflow Prevention Devices, $29,000. City of Riverview, May 2019 Dumping Service, $40,183.50. Safeway Transport, SAW Grant, Sanitary Sewer Cleaning and Televised Investigation Program, $26,429.56. And Superior RMS Annual Fee, $29,852.40.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Move to the city manager's report. Mr. Copper?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Excuse me. Good evening to everyone. My throat's getting all the allergies here. I have like 10 items here I'm going to go through really quick. The first one goes back to what Council President Breeding brought up, was the discussion on the selection of liaisons. We talked about everything, but we never really talked about how we were going to do that selection. We know the fundamentals, but when. And I don't know what your thinking is on that, so I
There's
thought we'd
no
have that.
reason we couldn't do it tonight, right now. It only takes a few minutes.
That's at your pleasure.
Problem with that.
That's fine.
So who's the top vote getter?
Well, if you're including me, then.
Yes.
You're the main man.
Yep.
So it would be, my choice would be public safety.
Mayor picks public safety.
You want to do the announcements?
I'll do the announcement.
Oh, there. Find my list here.
Let's look
One second.
Here we go. Okay. So, public safety is taken off here. Council
Since the
President?
mayor took my public safety that I wanted so badly, I'm gonna take Parks and Rec.
I'll do library board.
That's Public Services, DPS, and Library Board?
Well, that's together, isn't it?
Yes.
All right.
So next would be Lillian.
I'm going to take building.
Then would go
Council
to
Higgins.
Councilman Higgins.
I'll take community development.
That would be Councilman Kelsey.
Gee, I don't know. I should roll the dice on this one. I go for assessor.
Assessing in the Board of Education. And
Yeah.
that remains then that Councilman Parkinson would be Finance and Housing Commission and Historical Commission.
And so, I'm assuming you want this in a resolution form at the next meeting? Just,
We can do that.
Yeah.
Want-
okay.
You're adopted. Respond to it, or you?
Oh, it'd probably be easier just to get it done right now,
Right.
if that is possible.
Clerk can figure out. Just liaison says designated here and are approved for the term to expire at the end of this term. I got the thumbs up from the head city attorney.
We can save your salary then.
That's right. You need a mover to support, Your Honor, on that to make it important.
I'll move.
I'll support.
Okay.
What he said. Can't write that
We
fast.
understand what we're talking
Right.
on, the selections that were just
Passing a resolution to accept those
to
selections.
accept it. So
Formalizing it by resolution.
assessing department would be Councilman Kelsey, building department and associated would be Councilwoman Ross, the Parks and Recreation would be Council President Breeding, finance would be Councilman Parkinson, police and fire would be the mayor, Department of Public Services, Salcido, and community development, Councilman Higgins, I'm sorry, Councilman Salcido on number 6, that should give you your title, and Councilman Higgins for number 7, community development. That is, we have a mover, we have a supporter, so, clerk call the roll?
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes.
May I ask a question? Through the chair? Before we listed, years ago, we listed all of the different commissions and boards that you served on also, Mayor. You know, when we put it in there, we actually listed the DCC and those type of things. Were you going to incorporate that in this? for the minute book, it's the ones that
Sure,
you're obligated.
Sure. I mean, there are representatives on the building department and on the,
Pension and.
on the planning.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the planning, on the pension.
Right.
And
And that way, at least it would show all of the various.
so all assignments.
All assignments?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good point.
If I can make a comment on that also, I think it should be posted on the website too, so people have access, so they know who the liaisons are. So if they got a question, it's a lot easier than emailing 6 people. They go right to the person that's the liaison. So if that would be part of, that it would be posted and updated on the website currently, and then at the end of terms, again, so that it's up there for people to have access to.
Very good idea.
Goal to increase communication, so.
Yep.
It's all about communication.
So that was the most difficult thing I had for you tonight. We're going to, at the next meeting, going to be kind of busy. There's a number of things going on at the next meeting. I just want to give you a heads up on this. I may have mentioned in the past that we're going to have a presentation on the GIS and the City Works program that DPS is using. We're also going to have a presentation by James Gallagher working on updating our community signs in use of website and our other social media sites, and kind of looking over the last year at the requests that have been coming in. I think we've kind of strayed a little bit from what the current policy is. So we're going to make some recommendations on how to change that if you want to change it or not. So he'll be here at the next meeting to go over that with you. I can't even read my writing there. On July 8th at 7 p.m., the Compensation Commission will be having its first meeting. And that is up on the website if anybody's interested in it.
Will that be held here?
That will be held here. That will be held here in this room. We did receive notice last month that the Wayne County has approved the park grant for the city. We're actually waiting right now for the documents that will allow us to come to you to get signatures on that. So that, I think, may be coming on either the July 15th or the August 5th meeting. We'll be seeing that. 883 Monty, you might remember, we did seek approval to have a broker for that. We thought we had it sold. Unfortunately, when they were doing the review for the income levels, that did exceed what the program allows, so we're unfortunately not selling that. I had hoped that I'd be announcing that it was sold, but it's only been on the market for a couple of weeks, so it's still a good sign that there is interest out there. We had last week a meeting, was sponsored by DUA, that brought some of the communities together that experienced the flooding during the April 30th, May 1st storm. And we started talking about how to collectively, with DUA leading or being kind of the organizer, to look at what the options from a system perspective as well as each individual community's perspective. The goal is to come up with solutions so we're not facing every few years basements flooding. I will say up front that there's probably very few options that aren't going to cost money. So the intent is, one, to collectively look at that should any federal dollars, because there is still discussion out there about infrastructure money becoming available in the next few years. So we want to be ready to go should money be available to help the communities. But also to give the different communities options on how to solve the problem if they want to solve the problem. It's not necessarily going to say you have to do this, but these are solutions that can be taken to try to mitigate what we're seeing. You know,
The guarantee, pardon me, through the chair, with the guarantee?
Again, you know, I think the problem that we're going to be facing with this is that the solutions will not guarantee 100% of anything, because, again, that's the problem with the system that we have. When you take a fully wet system and try to dry it up like they've done over the last 30, 40 years, understand the system was designed to be a wet system. So there's still going to be issues, I think. But you know, the challenge that we have is we don't know if what we're seeing is going to be the new normal. And having 500-year rain events every couple years, you know, kind of changes the dynamic of how the system design is. But again, what I think it's going to do is lead to some practical solutions that, again, is going to cost money, don't get me wrong, that will try to mitigate the amount of flooding that happens throughout the communities. And there's really two different issues they're going to be looking at, you know, the stormwater side and then the sanitary sewer side. But, you know, no doubt that there are solutions. Turning engineers loose, you always come up with some solutions. It's just how much does it cost you to implement those solutions. So that's probably going to be, you know, a process over the next several months for that to kind of unfurl. We're waiting right now for DUA to kind of give back a recap of what the meeting was about and what they're going to be looking at, and then we'll start moving forward with trying to devise a regional approach to that review. At the last, I think it was the last meeting, Councilman Kelsey brought up the email that he had received from Beaumont, and we followed up on that. And you know, obviously, we sent out to council the email that Councilman Kelsey received. We followed up to get a better understanding of what the meeting and what they're looking for. They're not really looking to meet with all of council. What they've done with other communities. They've met with mayor, select council, it says here, city council president or representative from council, city administrator, economic developer, fire police chief, possibly parks and recreation. This is what they term a relationship building meeting. You know, one to introduce their team, to say this is, you know, who we are. We introduce our team. So I don't know necessarily if, you know, if everybody's interested in this meeting, it's going to take a different nature. I mean, we would have to publicize that. Their intent, again, was not to meet with all of council, which is not to say that there can't be a meeting sometime in the future where they come and speak to council. But at this point, they just want to introduce their team to kind of the management team and a representative of the elected officials. So I don't know what you're interested in.
Through the chair, I would suggest go with a recommendation. The mayor, the council president, the people that are mentioned there, and then start the relationship between Beaumont, because they are going to be building that brand-new center. It's going to affect downriver, and we are part of downriver. So I think it's a good idea if they reach out that we reach back. So I would recommend that the article there that you're reading for the definition of who goes is who we should send. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Well, they have, as was in the email that Councilman Kelsey sent, some dates. So if you can look at that and we'll get that meeting put together. The last thing I have is we're working to do the presentation to council. At the last meeting, you had requested a presentation on the issues surrounding, I think it's 1229 Ferris and the resident. We should have everything that they have asked for in terms of FOI to them within the next week, if not by the end of this week. And at least those things that we can provide. There was some request that you know, would be creation of a record that we're not going to provide as part of this. But I think in the report that's being prepared for you, answers those questions. So in the end, what is being asked for will be given to them, but just not necessarily in the form maybe that they were expecting. I'm anticipating that we're going to be doing this at the meeting of August 5th, I think is what we talked about. So we'll be getting together again. We had a meeting last week to kind of go over some of the preliminary stuff that needed to be done. And we'll probably be meeting again the next week or so or next 2 weeks or so to discuss where we stand and start preparing that presentation for mayor and council, which we will do at the meeting of the 5th under my report. And that's all I had. If there's any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Through the chair,
Yes.
Mr. Kopler, do we have an update on the animal shelter Phase 2?
I am still navigating through what the engineering firm provided to us. I don't like what they provided to us, so I'm trying to come up with a couple different options on top of that I think cost-wise fits within our budget. So the next step I have is I need to sit down with the police chief to kind of go over what they've given to us and make sure what's necessary and what isn't necessary and how to handle that. So I hate to say that at the next meeting, we'll be looking for a bid, but definitely by the meeting of the 5th, we'll be finalizing that and having something in front of council.
Thank you.
Very good.
Through the chair to the city manager. We used to get an update on the lawsuits against the city and the resolution. I haven't seen those for a long time. Could we get an updated where we're at with those and where they stand in the process?
Yes, and I apologize for that. That was one of the things that we had someone through the city attorney's office that kind of collected all that for us.
You got drafted.
She is serving.
No.
And so actually was talking about that here recently to put that together, so.
The
Because
good
there,
news is, though, there aren't many lawsuits, and most of them now haven't been settled so
Knock on wood.
far.
It is.
But we'll do that. That's a
Yeah.
great point.
yep, we'll be working on that.
It is.
I have one question through Chair for the city manager.
Yes, ma'am.
When is James's last day?
There may have been a resignation letter on my desk that I haven't looked at yet. I think he's looking at the 17th as the final day, but I don't know if that's been finalized yet.
Well, he'll surely be missed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good guy.
And one more question for the city manager.
Well, Mr. Gallagher has accepted a position in Bloomfield,
Birmingham.
Birmingham, same thing. So it's definitely, it's an
Ben's pretty
improvement for him, and so we wish him best success. Go ahead.
One more question. We're going on 3 years. Are we ever going to have a ladies' restroom downstairs?
Hasn't been 3 years.
We're approaching.
Probably close.
Well, it's pretty close right now, if I'm not mistaken. And our building official has been general contracting that. What do you think a deadline on that is?
The last parts of the last parts of the project have been approved for PO, and they are on order. When they arrive, they'll be installed. The plumbing will be installed, and the dividers will be installed. Door will be turned around, and it'll be operable.
John, while you're at it.
I didn't say that. I
know,
just
that's
I can't promise when deliveries of the material that will be the dividers, because that's being purchased on outside of the state, and when it gets delivered, then that'll be able to be installed. But I don't know when that date is. I know it's been accepted by the financial office to purchase an order.
Since you are up here, at several spots, I was approached about the house on, I think it's 659 Mayflower, that was the tragic fire where 3 people lost their lives, in reference to whether how it stands for demolition.
It's really going to be, it's preferred to be demoed by the owner. There is a escrow account, insurance escrow, set aside and available for that demolition. Tomorrow morning, I believe, we are scheduled for the DPS to disconnect water, confirmation on the disconnect for the other 2 utilities will determine the starting of a contract to take it down.
Back to you, Mr. Copley.
I almost forgot, one of the projects James was working on towards the end of his tenure was the painting of this room. And I haven't heard anybody saying anything bad about it, so I'm assuming that it's acceptable. Although it's not, there's still a little bit more work they need to come back and complete, but
It's blue. It looks good. Looks clean.
it does. That's all I had.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Copler. That's time for our department head report. We have Ms. Griggs from Finance.
Bear with me, doesn't want to open. Well, I'll just go through it for you. It's not cooperating. Actually, my report tonight is pretty short. What? Am I missing something? No, okay. Today's the beginning of the new fiscal year, so with the previous fiscal year just ending yesterday, essentially, there's really not a lot of information that I can provide as far as detailed information. I can tell you we've run some preliminary estimates for the fiscal year 18-19, and so far it's looking like there could be a contribution to general fund balance of $300,000 to $500,000. A lot of things are still pending, though. We're still processing payments for last fiscal year. We'll continue to do that until the end of August. There's a lot of construction projects hanging out there, as well as entries that have to be made for the previous fiscal year. With that being said, that's a very early projection. We are kicking off our pre-audit meeting next week, so we'll get things rolling for the annual audit. That'll be starting right around the beginning of October. So by the time we get to the point of starting the audit, we have a really good grasp, and actually in August, I'll be bringing the final budget amendment to you. So at that point, we'll have a much better projection of where we're going to end the year. Like I said, we're beginning the planning for the upcoming audit, trying to get together what schedules are going to be prepared by staff as opposed to the auditors to try and keep those costs down, as we've been trying to build on that each year the last few years. And the main goal of that is to kind of helps, for one thing, helps staff, it helps us have a better understanding of where we're at, rather than waiting for the auditors to present the information to us. And then, of course, it keeps the cost down. So we're continuing, that's part of our pre-planning process, is to go over the timeline when everything's due, who's gonna, who from our staff is going to put together some of these schedules, as well as which ones Plant Moran will be doing. And then again, the new fiscal year did begin today, so we have the new budget in place that was adopted by Mayor and Council June 3rd. So we are rolling along with that, starting to process payments for the new fiscal year. And then one of the things that just recently happened was, you may be aware of this already, the road bonds were closed on June 20th. So we did receive those funds. So tonight we actually processed the first payment as part of the road bonds to Hennessy for some of the pre-planning engineering that they've been doing over the time. The millages on the 2019 summer taxes that just went out, and that's 1.5742. That supports the debt payment for this year. And then, as I said, engineering's been going along, and I'm not sure, I believe some of the construction is beginning on that as well. And then to talk a little bit about the water office operations, this, of course, is our busy season in the water office. It's shut-off season. We're trying to collect as much revenue as we can to keep the cash flow coming into the water and sewer fund. So far, we've completed 3 out of the 7 districts, and we are currently in the process of working on the 4th district, and then we'll have a few more after that. Some of the numbers that we have so far for that: in District 1, we sent out 337 notices. We red tagged 163 homes. We shut off 28 homes, and 8 of those homes still remain shut off. District 2, we sent out another 364 notices, red tagged 157 homes, shut off water at 42 homes, and 10 of those remain off. And then District 3, 362 notices, 151 red tags. We shut off 24 homes, and 12 of those remain shut off. And then we're in the process of District 4, so we did send out 343 notices there and tagged another 133 homes, and they'll be shutting off some of those just this week. So once that red tag goes on the home, sometimes that's kind of the wake-up call some people need, and they get in and make arrangements with us and pay that. So that's why the number of red tags on the homes is much higher than those properties that actually have the water shut off. Of course, our main goal is to try and work with the residents. We've really done a good job of that over the last several years of working out payment arrangements. It is more time-consuming on our part, but that's part of what we have to do to make it available. We know there's some low-income families in the city, so we do try to work with them. As long as they stay in good standing with their payment arrangements, we will continue to extend further ones out to them. This is the first round of shutoffs, and this will continue through the beginning of August. Once we get through that first round, the second round is much smaller. So it's much less time constraints on office staff as well as DPS staff, because really at that point, we're only hitting those residents that did not keep their payment plans that were arranged to avoid the first shutoff. So the numbers go way down. So this first round of it is really the most time consuming for, our office staff is sending out all of the letters and then processing all of the red tags, getting them ready for DPS. And then of course DPS has to take the next step and put them on the homes. And so it's very time consuming for everybody. Then they have to shut the water off and then go back out and turn it on. So, we've tried throughout the last few years to continue to really collect these past due amounts, because it is a burden on everybody. And of course, we don't want to shut anyone's water off. So we do try to work with them as much as we can. We have also had 2 new employees start in the water office recently. One's just in the last couple weeks. The other one's been there a few months now. And so far, things are going well with that. They're learning the processes of the office, as well as, it's kind of, I guess, a good time to start them right in the middle of the shutoff season. Kind of lets them know what they're in for. So they're doing a good job. They're also cross-training with the treasurer's office to help collect tax payments and any other payments that come in. That way, during those peak busy times, they can, there's not as many lines, and they can help with the customer service side, help with those water customers that are down there, as well as alleviate some of the lines for Treasury. And then some of the items that we have in process right now, Mayor and Council approved us to go out to bids for information technology and the telephone system. We did open the bids for information technology, or IT, on the 19th of June, and we are currently in the process of going through those bids and trying to narrow it down. We've actually begun the interview process. We interviewed a few companies today. We'll probably talk to some more. We did receive 6 bids, but we really want to make sure that we make a good selection so that all of the staff of the city will be happy with the company, and hopefully make it a very smooth transition. We're looking 30 to 45 days to have a recommendation, as long as we feel confident in one of the companies that bid. And we'll have to put that transition plan into place. We have to give our current provider 30 days notice. So we've got to make sure there's a lot of planning on both our side as well as the new company and the old company going out, so that there's no disruption in service to any of the employees. And then our phone bids were opened on June 19th as well. Carrie enjoyed that very much. We had stacks and boxes of them. There was 15 bids for that. There's a lot of data to go through there. You can't really compare apples to apples on the telephone system. So we do have the third party that council had approved to help us with that, Abilita. They're going through them now. They actually want to talk to me tomorrow to kind of go through some preliminary information that they have on it. They're trying to weed out some that they know are not going to work. We've had so many problems with our current phone system. This is a very critical item for the city, so we want to make sure that that's a good selection as well. So we do plan to have the new phone system in place by early fall is the plan. There's a lot of planning that goes into that as well. Other than that, we processed over the last couple months, we were processing, I think we've taken in nearly 1,000 flood basement backups from May 1st. So staff has worked on that between my department as well as city management, collecting those claims and making sure they're logged into the system and making sure we have all of the records that we need. Those were all due by June 15th, so that process has now completed, and we'll move on with the next phase of that. But other than that, if there's any questions for me, otherwise, that's all I have.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Of all the shot water stuff you've had, you said it's some that didn't get turned back on. Are those houses vacant, or are they still occupied?
I don't have that information in front of me. A lot of times that is what happens. We do send notice to the building department after 5 days if it's not turned back on to condemn the homes. So they put notice on the home, they can't stay there overnight. There's certain hours they can be in the home, but they can't live there without water.
Anything further?
Just through the chair, a couple questions. The school bond millage that passed, when does that show up on the taxes? Or do we get involved in that?
We don't really get involved in that.
That's the school that does all the,
Yep.
okay,
Yep.
all right, so that'll be there. The next question is that, I know we got a report about the spring fling, and it did really nice, except the weather was kind of lousy. Did we get a financial? I didn't hear how much we made on that, or did we make anything?
That was the carnival you're talking
Yeah,
about,
I'm
right?
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was right around $12,000.
Oh, did good, that's great.
Yep.
That's fantastic, thank you.
You're welcome. And then I am going to pass this out for mayor and council. This was some information Councilman Parkinson requested earlier. I just want to make sure because I know he wanted it for tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Then we'll go to citizen communications. As soon as Ms. Griggs is.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Richard Kudrak. I'm so looking forward to the meeting next Monday with the Local Officers Compensation Commission. You know, I know the city would say that this commission is absolutely independent, but if you look at the names on the roster, I said there's not one person there that would be adverse to giving the local officers a nice pay raise. In fact, one of the people I talked to said it looks like these appointments were made from the Friends and Family Program. Anyway, I got my new tax bill. Yeah, my taxes went up $218. Looking forward to having the new courthouse added to that. $100 increase from the schools, $78 for the school for the road bond. One of the things that was interesting to me is I didn't have a problem with the city authorizing $1.2 million for the retiree health care. They should have never been taken away. But if you had $1.2 million to reinstate retiree health care, why don't you take away this admin fee? I find it aggravating. You charged me $22 to process my tax payments. That seems a little bit silly. We got enough money. We don't need that anymore. Thank you.
My name is Duchesne, and I live in Lincoln Park. And I noticed through the last council meetings this year that it seems to be more homes scheduled for demolition than in the past. And I'm going to try to find out how that's been working out maybe for the last 5 or 10 years. Maybe like in 2015, there might have been 2 homes scheduled for demolition. In 16, there might have been 4. And I'm wondering if that figure keeps going up. And what is the reason for these homes being scheduled for demolition? Because they caught on fire, or maybe they were rented out and people got kicked out of the homes, and sometimes they don't like being kicked out of a house, and they sort of scheduled their own demolition inside the home. I seen one home that was done like that, and it was a perfectly good kitchen, and they just ruined it. And I noticed in the paper that our financial manager is looking for greener pastures or something. And I guess there's 3 reasons why people like to leave employment for the city. One might be financial, and maybe other working conditions, the other personal. And I remember years back, we always had trouble keeping a financial city manager. And they were offering them, we couldn't get one, so we had to up the ante for the city manager that I think we had there this couple of years ago, and that's the way I remember it. And it was mentioned that we should have a list of the liaison on the internet. I think that liaison list should be put on the city's bulletin board where you come in on Southfield there. There's a glass bulletin board there with a glass case on it, and nobody can get at it. And that way people, when they come to the city hall, they can go look there and take a look without having to go on the internet. Everybody don't have a computer. And I still recommend that everybody speak into the microphones. That's what they're there for. And sometimes it sounds like the city council are talking to one another rather to the citizens of Lincoln Park. Thank you.
Mike Horvath, resident of Lincoln Park. Just a couple things real quick. You know, the fireworks, and they're just illegal on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, but please remember, there are people with PTSD and pets who are severely disturbed. Lincoln Park is a very tight, close community with houses, so consider others when you're shooting fireworks, please. And then the other one, well, the road work around this area right now has been kind of crazy, but thank goodness it's getting finished. It needs it. Because my handicapped daughter, the people trying to pick her up this morning for her program couldn't figure out a way to get to my house. But it'll be done in a couple of days. And I know there's been a lot of problems with the dust and the complaints. So hopefully once it's done, it'll be good for a long time. Thank you and have a nice day.
Good evening, Council. My name is Mark Henderson. I own the Henderson Realty team at VXP Realty. We're a web-based company. I'm a member of a couple other organizations, Downriver Business Association, Southern Wayne County Regional Chamber. I'm also an ambassador of the Chamber. So I got together with Chris, and he's decided that we're going to try to put together something for Lincoln Park. We came up with a name called Lincoln Park Community Association. We're trying to promote residents and businesses in the city of Lincoln Park. New businesses that are coming in, it doesn't show that there's a lot of support, ribbon cuttings, having council members show up for these venues, being able to get them published and in the paper, the local paper, let them know what's going on, getting people to support local businesses. Lincoln Park's a great community. I have lived in Lincoln Park in the past. I do business in the city of Lincoln Park. We're looking to put together a coffee hour coming up here in McDonald's here on 4th Street, Tuesday, July 23rd, from 7:45 to 9 a.m. We're looking to promote and have residents and businesses join to see what we can do to, like a networking event. Also to maybe grow the group enough to where we can start discussing more proactive things to help the city. Beautification, stuff like that. I know Chris has got a bigger calendar scheduled to talk about. But my biggest thing is to come together and let's bring residents and businesses together in the city of Lincoln Park. I know I've done a few ribbon cuttings with the Southern Wayne County in Lincoln Park for them, but there's nothing showing from Lincoln Park themselves. I understand there is a Lincoln Park Chamber, to my understanding, but I've been told by the Michigan Chamber of Commerce that they're non-existent. So I'd like to see something happen with the city of Lincoln Park. Residents, businesses, we're going to do what we can to promote as much as we can positive for the city and move forward and celebrate and promote more business. You know, if you live, you work in the city of Lincoln Park, let's do business in Lincoln Park. Some of the ideas that we had, and I know Chris will probably have more to talk about, but that's what we have coming up, and hopefully our councilmen can help support. Thank you.
Next, please.
Chris Darzinski, resident of the city and small business owner myself. Next Hands of the City planning meeting will be August 11th, 5 p.m. at the VFW Post 552, 1125 Ford Street. Everybody please mark that down. We need 5 more volunteers and we'll be at exactly 24. And then everybody gets a free set of steak knives. Wow, okay, never mind. I really thought it was going to be funnier. Okay, about 2 days after leaving City Council, I held the first meeting regarding what we then referred to as the Lincoln Park Business Association. It's gone through several metamorphoses, and the idea is to create a community group where everybody's involved. If you're a resident, if you are a business owner, if you live anywhere downriver and you want to help out Lincoln Park, if you once heard of Lincoln Park, Michigan, everybody's involved. Positive, proactive. Very short motto, meet, plan, act. We meet, we get together, we get to know each other personally, relationships, I think that's important. We reach out to each other, networking. Then we put together plans on what is positive, what's proactive for the city, and then most importantly, which kind of gets lost in the weeds sometimes, regardless, is acting on those plans. Very simple. Everybody's involved. Everybody's welcome, and I do mean everyone. I put together 3 simple task groups. The first task group has to deal with promoting every event in the city. We have a Facebook page up, Lincoln Park Community Association. You've got a poster, you've got a flyer for an event going on in the city, send it to me, and we'll get it up on the Facebook page. In the last 8 days, we've got 105 followers, which I don't know how that happened so quickly because I don't know enough about Facebook to understand that. I'm just trying to make sure we get the right phone number on the page for now. I'm holding 3 meetings for Task Group 3, which is the one that I'm going to oversee. This is a joint projects task force where at the community association, we look and see who can we partner with around the city, around downriver, and around Wayne County, different chambers, different regional groups, any group, any organization, who can we work with and what can we work on together. Tomorrow, Park Restaurant, 5 p.m. Wednesday, Park Restaurant, 5 p.m. Next Wednesday, July 10th, 5 p.m., all at the Park Restaurant. We'll be discussing ideas. The first thing I'd like to do is put on something that has never happened in Wayne County, and that's a Wayne County open house. Lots of preliminary work going on. This thing is actually moving much faster now after the last meeting than I thought it would. There's really no structure as to how you do this. We're just doing it. Everybody's got their ideas. They bring them forward. We put together a certain amount of people, and we move forward. Meet, plan, act. Again, Park Restaurant, tomorrow, 5 p.m. Wednesday, Park Restaurant, 5 p.m. July 10th, Wednesday, 5 p.m., Park Restaurant. And we'll be putting together ideas and within this joint task force on how we can work with other groups on projects. And the first one of that will be a Wayne County open house. And I thank you. And again, everyone's invited. And please, check out the Facebook page, Lincoln Park Community Association. Thank you.
Hi, Joyce Murray, Lincoln Park resident. I just wanted to remind everybody that Saturday, July 13th is the Ecorse Creek cleanup. I just want to make sure that nobody forgets. We hear a lot of people complain about the high water levels and all the debris and everything. And here's your chance to get involved and make a good impact, not only for the city, but for the ecological system as well. That's it. Thanks.
Seeing no one else approaching, we'll go to the oral reports of the mayor and council. Council President Breeding.
I reviewed the actuarial reports, and I'm quite pleased that the pensions are doing a little better. We've got a long ways to go in order for them to be where the state wanted us to be or whatever as far as funding levels or whatever, but I was pleased to see that they are doing better. I was down at the cruise. I don't know what we can do to promote the cruise better. I mean, granted, it's no longer, subsidized by the News Herald or the, Chamber of Commerce or whatever. But I went down in Southgate, and I mean, there were hordes of people, lines of people, I mean, in front of every single business. So I'm not quite sure what we can do to promote it more, to bring more people out. In fact, there were really very few cars, even that were in Lincoln Park at all, the older vehicles or whatever. So, but I was pleased there was quite a group down there by the Park Restaurant and that, on the city thing, and at the park. And maybe that's what what we're going to have to really just work on or whatever, and not worry about having people along Ford Street in front of the businesses or whatever. But I would say both of those venues were well participated or whatever. And when I was at the one over by the Park Restaurant, the band was very, very loud. That's all.
Councilman Salcido.
Yes, good evening, residents of Lincoln Park. I'll keep it short also. 4th of July is coming, so please be safe, be mindful of pets when you're doing fireworks. And I feel the same sentiment as Councilwoman Breeding. I believe the cruise is a great opportunity for Lincoln Park to shine. So business owners, please come on out. Like the band show was a good showing, and the Park Restaurant had their band. It was a good crowd there, but I think we can do more to bring people to the city. And that's all I have.
Councilwoman Ross.
Thank you, Your Honor. I had the pleasure of attending the swearing-in ceremony of our new police officer, Kyle. I'm afraid I'll butcher his last name, so we'll just stick with Police Officer Kyle. I want to publicly welcome him and wish him many, many blessed, safe, and successful years with us. I would like to pass along a big thank you from Pastors Shiplings from Blessed Hope to the residents who donated to them during a past concert in the park. I, too, want to extend a big thank you to Maureen Tobin for all her hard work on the entertainment for the cruise. I spent most of my time on the DDA spot on Saturday, and it was a very nice crowd. I think that they truly enjoyed the music. So thank you to the DDA and to Giles also. Happy 4th of July. I also want to thank HP Snap for their tour this evening. They seem to be a really great partner, a great investor in Lincoln Park. So, during our last council meeting, we talked a little bit about the Justice Center and setting that new date for the study session. So with that, I want to read a few sentences that I have for you. With a new study session scheduled for the Justice Center, and because so much has happened since the last study session, I am asking Mayor and my fellow council members to put Quant Park back on the table as a location option. I am asking you to walk through the park, note the condition the years of neglect are showing. Little League North appears to be utilizing one ball field, but I was told they're actually using 2. So why not get good use out of all of that property? The Justice Center on Quant Park is a grand idea. Allow yourselves to picture it. Let's do our part to reinvent and invest in that area. We have been waiting for the Plaza and Sears owners to redevelop that area. Well, here we are. We're still waiting. I believe this is a great opportunity for our city, for Little League North, and for the future of Lincoln Park. Let's take advantage of the opportunity before us and have the committee to include a Quant Park option again when we meet at our next study session. I hope you'll agree with me. And that's it, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Higgins.
Thank you, Your Honor. I too would like to go along with our council president's idea of trying to help the cruise kind of up its game a bit. at one time, and the council president, I'm sure, is well aware, we had a cruise committee that was not connected at all with the radio station or the News Herald. And maybe it's time to bring that committee back and take a serious look at what we can do at upping our game and getting our local businesses involved, because that's what it's going to take. And it is very circulatory, as in the more that we put into it, the more we will get out of it. It's definitely think. That being said, I will say that there was the bands that were there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I was at all of them and absolutely enjoyed myself immensely. Congratulations, and thank you to all the bands that did perform. Also, we had a singer this weekend at the Farmers Market, which was very nice. It's grown immensely, and they're doing really well this year. I would also like to mention, as another one of my council colleagues mentioned, Blessed Hope. The Lincoln Park Moose has stepped forward to do a canned food drive for Focus Hope, Blessed Hope. And all you have to do is drop the cans off the Lincoln Park Moose, and the Hands of the City has volunteered to get the cans from the Moose to Blessed Hope. So please give generously. They help Lincoln Park people in need immensely. And lastly, I'd like to remind everybody that we still have the recycling bin for paper behind the library, and all the money goes back to the library, which helps pay for new books and new things for the library. Please come out, please help. Thank you.
Councilman Kelsey.
Thank you, Your Honor. I enjoyed the cruise because I participated, drove my car. I had a great time. I think I went down to the Mustang Club that was in the Memorial Day Park there, that we're sitting there, and the band shell was going, and you had the DDA area, and I will have to say that most of the party people along the sidewalk were down at Southgate. They've been there for years. As long as I've cruised, they've always been down there. Namely because they got a big area. It used to be Kmart's, and then the dealership down there also allows them to put their cars there, so they have a way to have their cruise clubs to participate, and they have a good time down there. I think WOMC used to be there one time going down there, so it's the old story. You have to get it down this way. You'll have to do something to attract them. What it is, I don't know, but that's history, but that's happened in the past. I think the other thing is that there's a lot of stuff like the Spring Fling that was put on. It was a great thing. I mean, the weather is not cooperating this year, but that's the way it goes. I mean, there's been a lot of good events that people go to. They choose to go to whichever event. As long as you provide a variety of events, you'll get a variety of citizens out. Those who want to listen to music, those who want to drive a car, whatever the case may be. I think the city has come a long way, and it's going to go a long way more. It's just the fact that you have people that are promoting the city. I know I ran into Jason and Brittany when they were passing out the Hands of the City raffle tickets. They were working the crowd. They did their bit. Every group is trying to do their bit to make the city better, and I think that's what it takes. It takes a combination of different groups doing different things to bring the city back, so where everybody's involved and everybody has a piece of the pie, everybody has an ownership. Until you get that level, you're still going to have the little bit of problems we have now with participation, but it's getting there. I just think people need to come out more, that's all. There's enough opportunities that have not been there for years that are there now, and there's more groups that are, the Kiwanis is now in the city, so you have more groups that are getting involved. So I think that people that are going to other cities for entertainment, you got to start looking around. It's the entertainment and the clubs are here, but you got to be part of it. It's not going to come to you. You got to come to them. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Councilman Parkinson.
Thank you. I'd like to give my condolences to the George Sebastian family. George, I started the city George trained me in. He was a good man. He would still come to visit me up until 6 weeks ago. I think it's the last time I saw George. I miss George dearly, and he was a real asset to the city. I saw a posting for the sweepers on Lafayette. I talked to John Kazoo. They've been shut down a couple of different times for that problem, so they are working on it. And John, I'd like to step up road patching if it's possible. I mean, have the big patch machines have been out yet this year?
The road patch machine has been out, yes.
Okay. Well, I'd like to see a little bit more if we can, because what I see is there's some real bad streets in this city. And again, the fireworks, please be careful with your fireworks. I was watching on my patio yesterday, and there's fireworks going up over River Drive and Goddard area. They looked like fireworks you'd shoot off out in the river. They were huge. So please be careful. And I'm lucky this dog of mine is not afraid of fireworks like my last dog was. I enjoyed the cruise. It was a nice cruise. I watched it from my patio. Happy 4th of July, everybody. And John Myers, I'd like to see you before you leave out of here. I want to talk to you about the man from Hanford that called. And Matt, $1,500 water bill again for City Hall. I mean, the community center uses a lot more water than we do, and they're $700. Didn't we fix that? Or was we supposed to replace the?
Yeah, you approved the award of that, so we're waiting for installation.
Okay, I started that last year. You think you could have done it over the winter time? It might have been a little bit more advantageous for the city, but hopefully this will cut the water bill down quite a bit. Thank you. That's all I have for tonight.
But extend thanks to James Gallagher, who came in a little bit green and is leaving as a seasoned pro, I would think. So, but he did some good work for us and some projects, and he still has some that he owes us. So, according to the board there, so we'll, but he will be missed. But we will sure. I mean, we were looking for somebody when we found him, and so I'm sure that next person will be just as well. Well, not same, but I mean a little bit different. And the creek cleanup for July 13th, which is only, didn't think it was that close, but just a short 2 weeks away. Make sure that you come out for that. Everyone, please have a safe 4th of July. As been mentioned by several of us up here, fireworks are very dangerous things, and please make sure that if you're going to do this, act responsibly with them. And everyone have a safe holiday. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
All right, clerk, call the roll.
Councilperson Salcido?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes.
Obviously, City Hall is closed now.
Right.